Hello, how are you all? Wow, this is really what good lighting does for me, huh? Not much. I look better in half lighting. I just spent the last half hour trying to figure out where I can get a belt buckle like this, like the one from Crimson Peak. I've never actually seen the movie, but I've seen the belt buckle, and I've been wanting one of these belt buckles ever since I saw ads for the movie in 2015. If any of you know where I can get this belt buckle, let me know. I'm going to do the costume quarantine 20 questions. That's what it's called. It's something that I've seen trending, and I want to be more hip to that, and I want to be like an actual part of the costume community. So here we go. What was my first costume? Bonus if I show an embarrassing photo. So I think my first real costume was one that I made when I was the Queen of Hearts in my 5th grade school play. Some picture up there. I didn't actually, the only part of it I made was the spiky crown. The dress was just like a thrifted dress, and then my mother knitted me a cloak, but I think that was the first kind of time I tried to make an actual costume. Favorite costume I've made so far, or which one I'm most proud of. So I don't make costumes, I make clothes, but certainly my favorite piece of clothing that I've made so far is my 1896 basque bodice. I'll put a link to the video up there. What is a costume that I dream of making? I would love to make an English court dress from circa 1590 to 1610, maybe something Elizabeth I or Anne of Denmark, something with a big French wheel farthingale and an open fronted ruff. I think those are so much fun. You've seen my other video, the favorite eras of history video. I'll put that one up there too. Sewing task I love versus sewing task I dislike. I love putting on facings. That's really, really satisfying, and I love seeing all of the raw edges disappearing. Something that I don't like doing is ironing sneaky and tricky spaces like curves and stuff. I really, really do not like doing that. Wool or silk? Would I rather sew wool or silk? Wool, because I do not have experience in working with silk yet. Would I rather go to a themed event or pick my own theme event? I'm not sure if that means would I rather go to a themed event that somebody else has designed, or would I rather design my own event? I would prefer to go to an event that somebody else has designed rather than design my own event. I don't have the time to design my own event. If I could just go to an event and pick whatever theme I wanted to be, because that would be really easy, then I could just do 1890s. So it depends on what that means. And then would I rather go to a big ball or an intimate dinner? Really depends on my mood. I do definitely have reclusive tendencies, but I really also enjoy a good contra dance. Although large crowds do tire me out. Handwork or machine work? Handwork is more relaxing and it's good for precision jobs, but machine work is, I certainly still do a lot of machine work for the longer stretches of stitching. Wigs, hair pieces, or my own hair. Again, since I don't really make costumes, it wouldn't make a huge amount of sense for me to wear wigs on a daily basis, so I prefer my own hair. I am, however, looking into buying a hairpiece that I can use to make the frizzed 1890s bangs, because I don't like having to set my own hair in that every night, but I like the option of having the frizzed bangs. Also, I think if I could just pull my own hair back into a bun and then just clip something in, that would make putting my hair up a lot easier and a lot faster, because putting my hair up in the morning is the longest part of getting dressed. 5 small businesses that I love for costume things. American Duchess, obviously. Pretty much everybody who's done one of these videos has listed them. Amazon Dry Goods. They are great. They sell wonderful patterns. They have books. They have some, I believe they actually have shoes. They said they're one of the few places that I know that sells detachable collars. They have paper collars, the early 1900s paper collars. Darcy Clothiers is another place that sells detachable collars. But yes, Amazon Dry Goods is great. They'll be linked down below. All of these places will be linked down below. Patterns of Time, which is a pattern shop on Etsy. I've gotten several patterns there, and they're very good. I'm not sure how small this business is, but fabric.com, they have a lot of good reproduction fabrics, so that I love buying fabrics from them. And then Lavender's Green, which is, this might be a little bit of a cop-out since this is a clothing company, essentially. They make clothing, and that's where I get my corsets. I don't particularly like making corsets. They're too fiddly. And also, a majority of women in the past didn't make their own corsets, they bought them. So I feel as though it's acceptable to buy corsets instead of making them. So Lavender's Green is great for corsets. They make other things other than corsets, but that's where I get my corsets. 5 YouTubers that you should check out. Cartsy is great. She recently made an late Elizabethan dress and documented it on YouTube. It's not completely historically accurate since she was making it for a stage play for theater, so she had to cut some corners to make it accessible for quick costume changes and that kind of thing. But still, it's really, really cool. You should check her out. Again, all of these people will be linked down below. Engineering Knits is, first of all, a delightful name. And second of all, she's really good. So she does a lot more historical knitting stuff. So she knits historical lace, and she's documenting right now a process of making an 1892 ensemble. So she has knitted everything that she can for that. So the stockings, combinations, an under petticoat, and then she's sewn everything else by herself, and then decorated everything with knitted lace. And she always backs up her stuff with a lot of research and primary sources. So she's really, really great. Sarah Crispin she's not technically a costume channel, but she's a friend of mine. She's also an author. I'll link her books on Amazon. And she has a lot of videos about what it's like to live as though it were the 19th century, because she and her husband live as though it were the 1890s as much as they can. So she has videos about that on her channel, so those are really, really interesting. And then 2 that are kind of in the same category are Darling Videos and Antique Menswear, and they both focus on kind of Victorian and Edwardian men's fashions, which I think is really interesting because I know nothing about men's fashions, so that's been really fun to learn about. And then also Mistress Pennywhistle is fun. I've just discovered her, and she is a high school student. She documents making, I believe right now she's making an 1860s kind of prom dress, although prom has probably been canceled. I'm not actually sure. So yes, favorite color. Olive green and rich purple. I can't choose between those two. I love them both, but greens and purples I absolutely adore. Pearls or sparkles? Pearls. What even are, like, in what context? I don't know. I was just like, pearls, or like dump a bucket of glitter on your fabric. Costume trip that I've always dreamt of taking, costume college. Favorite cocktail. So I am an abstainer. I don't drink alcohol. I don't really approve of any sort of substances, everything from alcohol to tobacco to crack cocaine. I'm even skeptical of coffee. So I don't drink. A costumer I would love to meet. I'd love to meet Bernadette Banner and Cheney from Not Your Mama's History. Plain or patterned fabric, depends on the project. Shirtwaists I generally do in patterned fabric. Of course, I say that and I'm wearing a plain one. I didn't make this one though. This is antique. Skirts I tend to do in plain tend to do in plain fabric. So yeah, it really depends on the fabric, on the project. Use a pattern or make my own. I like to have a pattern to start off with, but then I am not afraid to alter that quite a bit. So with my purple shirtwaist, I started off with a truly Victorian pattern, but then I made excessive changes to it. What is my favorite era to wear and to make? You guys probably already know this, it's the 1890s. And then what is one thing you don't know about me? In 5th grade, I drank the milk of the euphorbia plant at school. I was kind of a dumb kid. I drank the milk of the euphorbia plant, which is a toxic plant. So I drank a little bit of this milk and my entire mouth went numb. So then I went into the office and said, hey, I tasted some of the milk from this plant and now I can't feel anything in my mouth. And they had to call poison control, and then the next day I got into school and the euphorbia plants were gone, and everybody was saying, whoa, why did all of those plants disappear overnight? And I just was like, yeah, I wonder what could have caused that. I can't imagine. So I don't think anybody found out that it was in fact my fault that the plants were gone. So yes, now you know my embarrassing secrets. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know in my last video I said that the upcoming video would be sewing related. I did not know about this, that this was going to be a thing. So the video after this will be sewing related. I hope you enjoyed this video and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.